The sun had almost drowned behind the western ridge when the wind carried the scent of dust, sweat, and sorrow through the dying town of Silver Creek. Lanterns swayed on wooden posts, their trembling light spilling over cracked walls and empty barrels, where silence hung heavy as guilt. Along the muddy street walked a woman named Ilara, her tattered shawl pulled close to her shoulders, her bare feet dust-streaked, her eyes hollow but still burning with the fragile flame of a mother's hope. In her arms slept her little boy, Sammy, his small face pressed against her neck, unaware that their world had already fallen apart. Her husband was gone, taken by the mines 3 winters ago, and the ranch she once called home had been sold to pay for his burial. The men in town no longer looked at her with pity, but with hunger, the kind that made a woman clutch her child tighter when footsteps echoed behind her. That night she had no place left to go. As the church bells tolled 8 times, a lone rider appeared at the edge of town, dust swirling around the hooves of a black stallion. The man rode slow, shoulders broad beneath a weathered duster, the brim of his hat shadowing eyes that had seen too much. His horse moved like shadow and smoke, unhurried yet commanding, and the street seemed apart for him. The townsfolk whispered his name, Cole Maddox, the rancher from the North Ridge, the man who'd once burned a gang's hideout to the ground for laying hands on his kin, a man who neither drank nor danced, who carried his silence like a second gun. Ilara watched him from the porch of the old saloon, her heart pounding. She hadn't planned to speak. She only wanted to see him, to make sure men like him still existed. But when 2 drunken ranch hands stumbled out and grabbed her arm, laughing at her torn dress, instinct made her flinch and whisper a prayer. Cole saw it. He didn't draw his gun. He didn't even raise his voice. He simply dismounted, boots sinking into the dirt with the weight of quiet authority. "Let her go," he said. The laughter stopped. The men obeyed as if a storm had spoken. Ilara stumbled back, clutching her boy, tears carving lines through the dust on her face. Cole turned to leave, one hand brushing the horse's neck, and that was when she whispered the words that would change both their lives. Words so soft they almost vanished in the wind. "Please be my husband, just for tonight." The street froze. Even the wind seemed to stop. Cole turned, eyes narrowing, not in anger but confusion. "Ma'am?" Her lips trembled. "They won't stop. Every night it's the same. I can't keep running, not with him." She looked down at Sammy, asleep in her arms. "If they think I have a husband, maybe they'll let me be." Cole stared at her for a long moment. Her dress was torn at the shoulder, her lips split. Her eyes red from crying, but there was something unbroken in her. Something that refused to bow to the dirt. He could have walked away. He wanted to. But something deep in his chest, the part that still remembered his own wife and child, gone 5 years now, wouldn't let him. He nodded once. "All right," he said. "Just for tonight." She stared, barely believing. "You mean it?" "I mean it," he said quietly. He walked beside her through the street, his hand resting lightly at her back, the town watching in silence. At the small boarding house on the corner, he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins. "My wife and boy need a room," he said. No one questioned him. No one dared. Inside the room, Ilara laid her son on the bed and turned to him. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I didn't mean to drag you into this." He looked out the window, eyes lost in distance. "Ain't no mess you made," he said. "World just got crueler than it used to be." She wanted to thank him, but tears got in the way. "You should rest," he said softly. "I'll keep watch till morning." That night, Ilara fell asleep for the first time without fear. Cole sat by the door, revolver on his knee, watching the darkness. He didn't know why he stayed. Maybe it was the way she said please, or maybe because, for the first time in years, someone had needed him again. Outside, the wind shifted, carrying the sound of distant hoofbeats. Trouble was coming. But for that one fragile night, the poor widow and her boy were safe. And though he didn't know it yet, that whispered plea, "Please, be my husband just for tonight," had already begun to change the course of his life forever. The morning he stayed. Dawn broke over Silver Creek like a slow-moving fire, painting the sky in gold. Cole sat by the door, hat on his knee, revolver still in hand. He'd spent the whole night awake, listening to the silence, to the boy's breathing, to the ache in his own chest that never left. Ilara woke to sunlight pouring through the curtains. You're still here, she whispered. Said I'd keep watch till morning, he replied. Little Sammy sat up, yawning. Mister, are you my pa now? He asked, innocent as the morning itself. Cole almost smiled. Just for now, kid. Ilara turned away, washing her face in a cracked basin. You don't have to stay. We'll be fine. Cole's tone hardened. You think those men forgot? They'll be back. Men like that always come back. Her hands trembled. So what do I do? You stand, he said. But not alone. By noon, Silver Creek was buzzing. Word had spread. The widow had found herself a husband, and not just any man, but Cole Maddox. Whispers filled the air, envy and disbelief mixing like dust. But inside the saloon, two angry men plotted revenge. Briggs slammed his cup down. He made fools of us. His partner sneered. Let's see how tough he looks when he's outnumbered. That evening, they rode into town with one more man. Their guns heavy, their hearts mean. Ilara was standing on the porch, Sammy at her side, when she saw them coming. Cole stepped beside her, calm, hand near his holster. Briggs grinned. Didn't know Maddox worked for beggars. Cole didn't flinch. You got something to say it. The man drew first, but Cole was faster. One shot cracked the silence. Briggs fell, clutching his shoulder, screaming. The others froze. Cole's voice was steady as stone. Next man who touches her or that boy dies where he stands. No one moved. No one dared. The men backed away, dragging Briggs into the dust. Ilara's tears glistened in the golden light. You've done enough, she whispered. They'll come back. You should go. He looked at her for a long time. No, he said finally. You're coming with me. To the North Ridge. To my ranch. People will talk, she said softly. Let 'em, he answered. I stopped caring what people think the day they buried my family. Something broke inside her then, not fear, but disbelief that a man could still speak with such quiet honor. She nodded. All right. That night, the three of them rode beneath a velvet sky. Sammy sat in front of Cole, giggling every time the horse shifted. The boys' laughter carried on the wind. And Ilara, riding beside them, felt something she hadn't known in years. Peace. The stars blinked awake over the hills, and the ranch lights glowed in the distance like a promise. She looked back once at the dying town that had nearly broken her, then forward again to the man who'd become her shield. Thank you, she whispered. Cole didn't reply, but his hand tightened on the reins. For the first time in years, he felt alive. Not because he'd saved someone, but because someone's hope had saved him. That one night wasn't the end. It was the beginning of healing, of home, of love reborn in the ashes of loss. And when the sun rose over the North Ridge the next morning, it didn't rise on a widow anymore. It rose on a woman and a man who'd found purpose again in each other's silence. If this story touched your heart, if you felt Ilara's fear, Cole's silence, and that fragile spark of hope they found beneath the lantern sky, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel for more stories that reach deep into the soul. Stories of courage, redemption, and love that refuses to die. Every like, comment, and share keeps these tales alive, helps them travel farther, and brings the next journey to life. Ride with us through every heartbreak and every dawn that follows it, because sometimes one story can change the way you see the world.